It's food o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I've got another naked ultimate noodle to show you today. This is their Korean style beef flavour. So there's a fill line with approximately 230 millilitres of water needed for this. The previous naked noodle ultimate we didn't have a fill line. So I've come prepared this time with my Pyrex jug. Let's get this out then. Yeah, again, I mean, I think it's on the outside. I think there's the line there, and you're meant to look at it through the, it's slightly see-through, so you're meant to kind of put it to there, I think, but it's not a really good, I don't think it's a really good way of doing this. I think it's right, we're going to go with that. Let's just go with it. Let's go with that line. So, get the kettle boiled. So what you do, remove the lid, peel back the foil, pour the boiling water in, stir thoroughly, replace the lid, leave to stand for 4 minutes, stir it again before eating. There's a look at the noodles. They do look really, really good. So 90 grams plus the water is probably going to be about, judging by a can of beer, I reckon it's going to be about 440 millilitres in kind of water weight. But what that translates to in actual weight is something else, isn't it? So yeah, you've got to kind of just... Oh, it smells fantastic. Really, really fantastic. So we've gone to the fill line that's on the outside. And we can see it through the cardboard packaging. But I mean, if your eyesight's not great, I don't think it's a magical thing to do that. You know, I think it's more of a difficult thing to do. But anyway, lid's going on. We'll come back in 4 minutes when these noodles are all set to go. Okay, it's been 4 minutes. Let's get into these noodles then. They seem quite thick. We definitely went to the fill line. But if you look at the kind of picture on here of the noodles anyway, they do look a real thick looking noodle. They smell absolutely fantastic. The price of this noodle was £1.50 in Sainsbury's. It's got a really kind of rich beef gravy smell to them. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you wanted it a little bit more juicy, you could obviously add a little bit more hot water. But I think the consistency is quite right here. Nice, thick, rich, good quality egg noodles with, now, Korean style beef flavour. What does that entail? Okay, these are sold in the UK. If I think of Korean, I naturally think of at least a little bit of spiciness or something with a bit of kick behind it. I might be completely wrong. I might be completely wrong on this case that they should be slightly spicy. But it's just that if they just called them ultimate beef noodles or ultimate beef flavour noodles, I think they would struggle to sell them. They have to kind of market it towards being something kind of exotic, something different, something which you would not necessarily be easily able to get your hands on. But they're a bit... got that classic beef flavour that, of course, we all know and love. You see it in a roast beef monster munch. You taste it in a pot noodle, beef and tomato pot noodle. I don't think there's much of a difference, you know, between a beef and tomato pot noodle and this. I really think it needed some spice. I really think it needed some elevation of flavour to be able to call it an ultimate noodle. Happily eating it. Happily enjoying it. I just wanted something that pointed me in the direction of it's actually a Korean beef noodle. Because other than that, you're just left with a beef noodle. A roast beef flavour noodle. Now that last flavour, there was a little bit of pepperiness coming through. So perhaps it's a case of getting down to the bottom of this noodle pot. And maybe there's a little bit of spice down there eventually. That last taste was definitely a little bit more peppery. But again, not enough to suggest that it's an Oriental style noodle. Now, growing the channel, I would love to visit Asia one day. I would love to get out to Asia and really experience a proper Korean noodle, Japanese noodle. You know, you see the street food vendors mixing up all the, frying up the noodles in front of you, and you're thinking, oh, that just looks terrific. But for now, all we have to go on is stuff like this. Now, I think on a personal note, I have been to Sainsbury's and these big Tesco stores where they do sell, you can buy a Korean style noodle. I think they're called Mama. You buy them in a pot and they have got a fantastic kick to them. If you want something a little bit more authentically Korean, then probably go down your world food aisle in your big supermarket and pick up some Oriental style spicy noodles if that's what you want, because they are fantastic. They really are fantastic. This, it's just a bit spicy. It's just a bit peppery, I wanted to say. It's just a peppery beef flavour. The more I eat it. It's a shame, of course it's a shame, because you want more. For that £1.50, I mean, I know the noodles are a bigger pack of noodles than a regular pot noodle. I know there's more to it with this, but even for £1.50, I think I'd prefer to just get a regular old pot noodle. That'll probably cost you 70p less. Maybe 50p less. It's all right, but it's not blowing my doors off. It's not making me jump for joy, this. Now, this company, Naked, come bounding on the scene a few years ago with loads of different kind of rices and noodles, and then they faded away a bit. It all kind of went a bit pear-shaped for them. They lost their kind of shelf space on the supermarket shelves. And I think this is probably their last real attempt to really come back and try and make a name for themselves. There is a little bit more pepperiness as I'm getting down to the bottom. But there's nothing really here to suggest that, again, sorry for repeating myself, there's anything Korean about this whatsoever. All eaten, all gone. Let's get the description. Right. Dry noodles in a Korean style beef flavour sauce with red onion, broccoli and carrot. Did anybody see any broccoli? Or I seen a little bit of carrot, but it was like a micro shaving of carrot. I think it's a bit of a poor effort. I think they're enjoyable as a regular old beef noodle. But if you want a regular old beef noodle, you can buy a pot noodle for that, can't you? There's not enough of a difference here. There's not enough of a step change for me to want to kind of pick that up over a beef pot noodle. Quite poor, really. Quite, I don't know, whether it's lazy or I don't know. But 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!